Welcome back to another episode of Your Wellness Friend Podcast, your go-to place every Wednesday for gut health tips, real talk, and wellness wins you can actually stick to. I'm your host, Francis, certified wellness coach and your personal guide to feeling amazing in your body, especially if you had your gallbladder removed, dealing with digestive issues, or just want to stop feeling like your food is the enemy. If this show has helped you in any way, would you do me a quick favor? Leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more women like you find this show and start feeling better, faster. If you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website to learn more about working with me one-on-one. Let's grab your matcha and let's dive in. Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Your Wellness Friend Podcast. I just wanted to take a moment and just thank everybody. The podcast is now on episode 9, and I've already done a bonus episode with my brother. If you guys have not heard, please listen back to it. It was a great conversation, and it's been a ride, and so far I am loving it. I kind of wanted to take this couple of moments in the beginning of this episode to kind of sit down and explain where I'm at this current point in my life, which kind of ties in today's episode, which if you guys see with the title, it's creating a balance. And the biggest thing for me is that I've always, as I said in my previous podcasts, I've always had a desire to service others. I've always had a desire and had a purpose in life. And once that was made completely clear to me with my walks, with being saved, and my new relationship with Christ, I've learned that things are only done with balance. And my desire to help others and to grow this business as a coaching business and to really be able to serve has allowed for me to understand what true balance means. So one day I was in prayer and I asked God, I said, hey, what do I need to do? How am I able to reach my clients? How am I going to be able to have people hear me and understand me and give me the space, allow for me to create a safe space for them and for them to really come and be able to learn? Because I've learned so much in my life. I've learned how to be a really good friend. And he made this possible. He told me podcasts. And I would say I really started listening to just other podcast channels or just listening to other podcasts. I would say probably close to about maybe 7-8 years ago, but really like more in tune with it, or really like spending my days and time, to and from driving to work or just cleaning the house or at the gym. And by doing that, he's really allowed for me to understand that with a podcast, it's simple. I mean, I have the pleasure of being in my home right now. I just finished waking up and thought, let me get this episode out because it's something that came to mind. So having that accessibility and having that ability just to kind of do this and getting to start building the community of my future clients just by having a conversation, which is what I would do in my coaching anyway, having a conversation, getting to know everyone. It has opened doors. So I am excited. My thought process, and I'll be very honest, when I first even picked up the mic was, let me just do quick 10 episodes. Let me just do some quick 10 episodes, see what happens. If nothing happens, it is what it is. And as I've continued to study and continue to research, continue to learn, I've come to that understanding that it takes time. It takes dedication. It takes consistency. And me just doing 10 episodes is not going to be consistent. I can be consistent with the 10 episodes, but if I really want to grow and reach the audience that I know in my heart is out there for me, I need to keep on showing up. So last night I went ahead and just planned out my next 10 episodes, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see really where this leads me. And I'm hoping and I pray that in a year or two, I can listen back to this episode and just hear the growth. I really am. So thank you. And for everyone who has listened, who has liked, who has shared, who has commented, who left a review, I really, really, truly appreciate you guys. And yeah, I could hope to continue on with this amazing journey. So, all right, guys, now let's go ahead and get to the episode itself. So, episode 9, as I stated, is creating a balance in a clean and non-toxic life. So that's really the focus I'm going to have for today. I remember when I first started learning about toxic chemicals in my everyday products, I was overwhelmed. I felt like everything in my home was a threat, like my shampoo to my candles. I remember thinking, how am I going to afford a new lifestyle? When I started doing my research and started really listening and watching YouTube and reading books and going on Instagram and TikTok and just going on my Pinterest board, everything that showed for people who were starting this new lifestyle, it really required for you to clean the slate and start brand new. And sadly, which I said before, sadly, it is crazy how something that should be good for you, grass-fed meat, organic products, produce, just more like clean ingredients from, as I said, shampoo to candles, literally costs double, sometimes triple the things that you can get that are toxic. Like, let that sit in. Like, why is it that for a family of 4, you can go to McDonald's and you could buy burgers, fries, nuggets, shakes, cookies, all this stuff, and spend maybe, I don't know, $40, $45. But yet, if you took that same family of 4 and you went to the supermarket and you got organic food and you got grass-fed meat and you got clean juices, it will cost you in the upwards of like $100. And you're like, wait, what? Why is that? So when I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm going to really go all in. I'm going to go in. I am starting to take care of my mental health. I'm going to start taking care of my food on my plate. I'm going to start, of course, now cleaning my environment and really focus on non-toxic items. That's when I realized that clean doesn't mean it has to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. I really had to be intentional about what I was going to start bringing in to my home, to my life as of that point. There's nothing you could do to erase what has already happened. And that's what I really wanted to kind of make clear about this episode, is that there's no way, and you should not feel shame or guilt for everything you've done before the point that you're at right now, when you realize, hey, from this day forward, I'm going to live clean. And from this day forward, I'm going to make better choices. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to have the intention. So ladies, in this episode, we're going to be talking about what it really means to live a clean, non-toxic lifestyle without going broke, without going to the extreme, and definitely as stressless as possible. So if you ever wanted to reduce your harmful ingredients in your home, but you don't know where to start, this episode will help you make realistic, doable swaps that support your hormone, your energy, and your life, your long-term wellness. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is really going to be where those toxins are hiding. So when I did my research and I really kind of just looked in on, okay, so moving forward, I'm going to start being more intentional. What does that look like? How is that going to fit into my everyday? So when I was looking about toxins, I said, okay, what are they referring to? So they are really referring to more like synthetic chemicals or compounds that can interfere with your body's natural functions. So when I mean natural functions, you're talking about your hormones, you're talking about things that you store your items in, your everyday kind of way of living. So everywhere you look, there's going to be products that say safe or natural. Those are how they're marketed. But the reality is that you really have to take the time and you have to get yourself knowledgeable with what it is when they mean safe or natural. So let me break this down for you, right? So let's start. So the 4 categories that I really focused on was beauty and personal care, cleaning products, food, packaging, and then this was a big one for me, everyday plastics. So let's start there. So with everyday plastics, this is something, think like water bottles, food containers, even like receipts, even the plastic bags that you get from the supermarket. All of these things really have chemicals that could mimic your hormones in your bodies and confuse your systems. So you're talking about water bottles. So when I decided to change and do more glass bottles, and these are things that, believe it or not, how I started was I grabbed the box and I went through my whole house. I went through my pantry, I went through my fridge, and I realized all the items that I had already purchased that were in glass bottles. And what I did was that after I used them, washed them out and kept them, and then started reusing them. And that's something that is pretty simple to do. You already spend the money on the item, you already purchased it. But now what you're going to do is that you're going to keep the bottles and repurpose. You could either learn how, which is what I did. I learned how to make a lot of food and I just put it in those bottles. When I had leftover food, instead of me putting it in a plastic container or putting in a Ziploc bag, I put them in a glass bottle for whatever one that was left over. And that's how I really started. The one thing I definitely did, and this was so funny, I'm hoping you guys can relate to me, right? So I would do like plastic food containers and I would get them from TJ Maxx or I would get them from Ross or Walmart or whatever. So I would go ahead and I would actually purchase them like a pack of like 10 for like $7 in like TJ Maxx. But I don't know about you ladies, I would always lose them, right? I used to be like, where do they go? Like, how is that I just bought a pack of 10 of those storage containers, but yet I have 2 at the end of the month? Like, where'd they go? Like, where'd they disappear to? I could never find the top, or I couldn't get them together. And I would be like, what in the world? So what happened is that I would go ahead next month and buy another 10 containers and it would be a vicious cycle. Okay, when I actually went ahead and purchased actual food storage containers made out of glass, I knew where everything was. I actually still have them 5 years later. And to me, that's a win, ladies. That's a win for me personally. But I came to realize, I was like, okay, all of my storage containers that I had that were plastic, when you heat up plastic, they're going to let out chemicals, putting my food in those storage containers. And then I was heating them up and then I was digesting them. So not only was I eating unhealthy food, but I was putting them in a container that made them more unhealthy. And I was eating it like nothing. So those are 2 things that I really did really fast, immediately actually. And that honestly, number 1, saved me money because I purchased the food containers and I didn't have to replace them. And then what I did was that I wanted them going ahead and changing my everyday bottles to glass bottles that I already purchased, so I didn't have to buy more. I did throw away a lot of my plastic water bottles and started getting more, just honestly, glass water bottles. That's honestly what I use. And those things really started the journey for me. Another good thing that I started was my cleaning products. So many of our mainstream cleaning sprays and laundry detergent contain ammonia, bleach, and artificial fragrances. Now think about that. You are inhaling them, you're absorbing them through your skin. You can be really impacting your immune system. And not only that, you're irritating your lungs and your skin. So many of the mainstream cleaning items and laundry detergents really are not good for you. And I don't know if you anyone else has realized when you're going and you're doing your shopping that now you see things that are, all clear or all natural or clean is what they really put down on the packaging. because people are starting to realize that the cleaning products that we're using on our everyday to keep our house clean, to keep our clothes clean, can really hurt your body. Your skin is your largest organ. So your skin absorbs everything. And you're putting these chemicals on your body. You're inhaling them on a daily basis or once a week basis, however it is that you clean your home. And it really does impact everything. So this is something that, again, going back to what I said in the beginning in regards to taking your time and just being intentional, I was not about to throw away everything that I had. But what I did was I took the time and I said, okay, cool. I made a list. I said, all right, I'm almost done with my laundry detergent. Let me start looking for a clean option. Let me start taking the time, doing my research, and finding out which are the clean items. And honestly, as of right now, the products that I use a company called ECOS. I believe I have to double check with my laundry. I think it's ECOS. Let me double check. So actually, on that note, ladies, a big thing that I did was I started to really look into ways of saving money. I wanted to find out like what would be the best way to save money. And what was really good for me and what I found to be really helpful personally is I started looking for companies that would assist with that. So there's a company called Thrive Market, which I'm not too sure if anybody else has seen, but Thrive Market, actually what they do is that they actually home deliver natural, more organic items. Now, these are not going to be, some of them will, but I would say I don't know, maybe 70% of the stuff that they carry are not things you're going to see on the normal mainstream shelves. And they're great savings. They're constantly having promotions. They're constantly having deals. And this is something that, to me, when I found that out, was mind-blowing. So the name of the actual detergent is called Rosie, and they are a all-natural detergent. And I've gone through a few different ones of them. It's called ECOS. That's the name of the company that I'm currently using with my laundry detergent. But I've used dish soap from them. I've used laundry sheets from them. And Rosie is another one that I've used. I use their softeners, and I use their laundry detergent, and I also use their laundry sheets. And these are things that not only have they made my clothes smell great, I've actually seen my clothes, the actual product like itself, last a little bit longer. And all those things like really truly make a difference. And another big thing, like I said, was also my cleaning products. So I've changed from the soap that I wash my dishes with. I changed what I use to clean the tops of my stove or my tabletops. I do a nice little mixture now of baking soda and vinegar with some essential oils and water. I use that pretty often. I use Pinterest to kind of find DIYs items that I'm able to kind of make at home, because a lot of these things, granted, they've allowed us to think that if it's not these products, then it's not cleaning your home. And that's false. That's just my opinion, but it's completely false, because I've actually had really good results cleaning my house with all of these more natural, quote unquote, or clean or safe products that, based on the mainstream, they should not be doing what they're doing, but they are. And at the end of the day, they're saving me money. To be very honest, I save money. So that was a big thing. And then also, like as I was saying, in regards to your skin being your biggest organ, beauty and personal care, that was a really big one as well. So ingredients that have fragrances or parabens in your shampoo, in your body lotion, in your deodorant, in your perfumes, these are all disruptors. What they do is that they mimic estrogen and they throw off your hormone imbalance. So this was something that, honestly, I would say, be very transparent, took me a little bit longer, because your girl is a Mackie. I love my Mac. I've had MAC for years, and nothing's wrong with MAC. Don't get me wrong. I do still have MAC products. But when it comes to like major things like foundation or concealer or, blush or anything I'm really gonna like push into the skin, I try to use more of a clean option. But another big thing that I did was the shampoo. I did a little bit more natural shampoos. I try to use nothing that's not too extra fragrancy. Body lotions, the same thing. I was able to find a couple of really great companies. I was able to get some nice natural body, body lotions, which was really nice. And the one thing, and I'll be very honest, ladies, the one thing I have not kind of gone away from just yet would be perfumes. I love my Chanel. I am a Chanel girly. I've been wearing Chanel since I was like, oh my God, I've been wearing Chanel for, I would probably say since I was like 16, 17. I'm a Chanel girl. So it's like, that's going to be something that I may have a little bit of a harder time giving up, but I have tried other ones as well. And I like them. Don't get me wrong. They smell great, but yeah, I think I will always have a bottle of my Chanel on my bathroom counter. But yeah, so those are the little things that you get to go ahead and kind of learn how to swap out little by little. And I did exactly that. Once I finished my shampoo, I went out looking for a cleaner option. Once I finished my body washes, I do not buy any body wash that is too heavy in the fragrances. I don't use anything of those mainstreams. I honestly use bar soap. I've come to realize that has been a big change for me. So I use the Dr. Dooner. I think I'm saying it right. Dr. Dooners. I use them. I love lavender. Ooh, people, lavender is like my happy place. So everything that I own that's natural, that has the essential oil, it's 99% of the time going to be in lavender. Everyone knows it. My family, my friends, everyone knows lavender is where I'm at. So besides that, so you're talking about, I, again, took it slow. I got rid of all my plastic containers. I bought in glass containers. I wanted getting rid of all of my plastic water bottles, started using glass bottles. I went ahead and started changing my cleaning products, change out my laundry detergents, change out the sprays that I use to clean the home, use more natural, clean stuff. Then I changed my beauty and my personal care. So I changed my soaps, I changed my deodorants, I changed my shampoos, I've changed my lotions. And then lastly, what I changed was the food packaging and the additives. And this is something that honestly I'm really still working on. And that is trying to get away from everything plastic. So, and that's going to take some time, to be very honest, because what happened is that you just can't, everything that you get now in the stores is wrapped in a plastic. Everything that you get from stores are put in plastic containers. So this something is a little bit different. This is kind of something, like I said, I'm still working on, because the way you can prevent these things is going to farmers market, is going to, a farm, or going to a place that has just more of an open style in the supermarkets that you can go ahead and grab. Because think about it. Even when you go to the supermarket and you're picking up a head of lettuce or you're picking up herbs, what's sitting next to you when you're getting those things? A plastic bag to put your herbs and your fruits in it, a plastic bag. So you're wrapping them in plastic anyway. So these are things that, of course, may take a little bit more time, because this is how the society works. This is something that I really try to stop using plastic bags. So I have so many reusable bags. They're everywhere in my house. They're everywhere in my car, my husband's car, my son's car, my daughter's car. Like we all have bags of some kind. I try to be very minimal with plastic bags, but of course it happens sometimes, because in the beginning, oh my God, ladies, I'm pretty sure you guys can definitely relate. In the beginning, whenever I went to go pick up or go to the supermarket, I would always leave the bags in the car. And then I'm like, what is the point? Like, I bought my bags so that I could take them into the supermarket, and I would always leave them in the car. And that's something it just took a matter of me going ahead and starting to really remember those things. So to kind of just do a quick like recap on it, for the four tiers that I really focused on was beauty and personal care, my cleaning products, food packaging, and everyday plastics. So those are just like kind of where I started. And then what happened was is that I, again, being who I am and how you ladies have come to hopefully learn about me, I'm all about research. So I decided, okay, if I'm spending the time and the money to go ahead and start redoing my life, why am I doing it? You know, what is the real benefit that I'm going to get out of this? And what I realized is that there really is a link between environmental toxins and your hormone health, your gut health. And this was a big one, fatigue. So your body is smart, but it wasn't designed to deal with the level of chemical exposure that we face today. Toxins honestly affect key areas of our health, especially as us women who are over 35. So a big one would be hormonal health. So a lot of the toxins have disruptors. The chemicals, what they'll do, as I said before, they will mimic and they will block your hormones. So this can lead to an estrogen dominance, irregular cycles, PMS, and even thyroid dysfunctions. So when I heard about that, especially with now me being a little bit older in my life, about to hit 46, I really have to take my hormone health serious. And I really have to pay attention because I'm getting into that premenopause state. And the last thing I need is to really kind of off balance my hormones. And what really led me to start looking into this was two things: my gut health, my fatigue, and my brain fog. So technically three things. So that's kind of what led me to start doing my research. Because when I found out about the toxins and their effect on my gut health, it really does play a huge, huge role in how it filters and eliminates my toxins. So gut health. So over time, what happened is that the exposure actually weakens your gut lining, which means a leaky gut. Having a leaky gut, not cool. Having a leaky gut leads to a whole bunch of other issues, which we'll definitely talk about in future episodes. But what happened is that a leaky gut can really throw off your microbiome. And this can cause symptoms like bloating, food sensitivity, and skin flare-ups. Now, for me personally, the bloating and the skin and the food sensitivities, that's really what kind of triggered. Because when I first started on this journey, not only was I, as I shared before in the previous episodes, about 6-7 years ago, I had a major thing that happened in my family that really shifted a lot in how I view things and how I, was going to live my life moving forward. And that amount of stress really, really caused a large flare up. And I then started to realize about my bloating. I became sensitive to certain food. I could not tolerate just regular milk. Anything that had any kind of carbs made me very gassy and very bloated and made me very uncomfortable. And then not only that, it took just a physical appearance. I looked bloated. I looked like I was a lot heavier than what I actually was. And those kind of physical key points, I guess, or physical cues is really kind of what started me down this path. And besides that, I would say when you're looking at yourself and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm gaining weight, I feel like I am not my healthy self, what came next was the fatigue and the brain fog. Ladies, I had such bad brain fog. I would be mid-sentence and I would forget what I was saying. Or I would put something down, I would turn around and be like, wow, where was it? It was right in front of my face. And I was fatigued. I was always tired. I was always run down. I always felt like I did not have the energy to do anything. And when you think about that, when your liver and your gut are in overload with toxins, your body prioritize detoxing over energy production. As I said before, your body will let you know. Your body will tell you, hey, something is not right. We need to fix this. And what happened is that that's exactly what I was dealing with. My body was like, okay, you have way too many toxins in your body. You are not eating healthy. You are not living the life that you should. So therefore, I need to prioritize detoxing you over your energy production. And then what happens is that it led me to feel tired. It led me to feel foggy and inflamed. And despite what I felt was a healthier lifestyle, it really wasn't. I was literally struggling. And when I sat down and, like I said, started doing my research and really started putting this as priority, that's when I came to realize, like, okay, I need to change. I need to change this. I need to figure this out. And hence where I'm at right now. So another good thing is also that balance is more about being powerful than it is about perfection, right? You don't need to toss everything out. Like I said before, you don't need to start from scratch. The goal isn't to live in fear of what's around you. It's about being aware. So trying to go and be completely toxic free overnight can actually lead to more stress than benefit. So I need you ladies to kind of think of it as balance is key. That was the biggest thing for me. Understanding that progress over perfection allows you to make intentional changes over time, which is more sustainable. I've been able to go ahead and, as I've mentioned in the past, or I'm not sure if I mentioned in these recent podcasts, but in conversation I've had with other people and clients, I would tell them I was all about trying to get a quick fix. I was all about trying to get on the latest fad so that I could lose weight quickly. And what happened is that I never stuck with it. I never did. This is something that a lot of these mainstream companies are able to keep people in that yo-yo lifestyle because everything is being marketed as you could do this overnight. It doesn't take too much effort. It's something that it's quick and easy. And do this in 5 minutes, or do this in 2 weeks, or do this in 1 day. And it's everything is like quick. But the reality is that you have to be intentional with what you're doing. You have to find out the balance. Like, you need to find out how did you get here? And then not only how did you get here, how can you move forward and be better at what you are trying to change? And that's what I mean about having balance, because it makes it more powerful. You have more power when you're understanding where you're off balance on. So living clean doesn't mean that you're never going to buy a store-bought product again. Because like I said, balance. There are certain things. My makeup, my perfume. I love my MAC. I love my Chanel. If I could learn how to make a cleaner version of those two, hell yeah, I would buy them in a heartbeat. But right now, I'm not there. So I understand that I may be putting these products on my body, but if I balance it out with more of a cleaner option, more non-toxic, more hormonal affecting, it will balance out. It will balance out. And it means that you have to inform yourself. So once you have the information, once you're more informative, then you could choose better. And that is what's powerful. That's what makes the difference. So stressing over perfection within itself is a kind of toxin. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and understand that the more green living you do, the better you're going to be feeling. And by doing that, ladies, You're powerful. Come on now. It's going to make a difference. That will honestly help to start allowing your family to start living better. They'll see you, they'll learn from your examples, and that within itself will truly make a difference. So another big thing was when I started making my smart swaps, and like I said, we're not overwhelming ourselves with going everything at once. As I started doing that, I realized that it was actually more cost efficient that way. So when I started making small, strategic, better options, it just made everything, I don't know, it just made everything better. Like the things that I used more often was things that I was learning how to swap out with better, cleaner things. So I'll give you just like some basic things that really helped me really change. So I switched out my candles and my air fresheners. So what I did was that I would go to TJ Maxx, and I still do it now. I would like to start making my own candles. That is definitely something I have planned for. I'm hoping the fall. I really want to do it for the fall because I am a big fall girl, even though I was born in August, and I'm a water baby. I love to be in the water. That's why I moved to Florida. I loved being around the water and the beaches. Like that's just my thing. But your girl, I love me some fall. Like I'm excited. Like I've already started looking on what I'm going to do for the house and what I'm going to like decorate, but I'm going to digress. But candles. So what I did was that I would take my time when I am in TJ Maxx or I'm in Ross or I'm in Target, and I will make sure to look for bee wax candles. Because what happened is that the candles, we burn them, they smell great, but if they are full of toxins, you're literally inhaling those things. So what I also started doing was the plugins. I don't have any more plugins in my house. I got rid of all my plugins. And what I do is that I do essential oil diffusers. Honestly, I save money because it's just water. And I really spend money on the essential oils. But one little bottle of essential oils would last me months compared to a air freshener that you plug in that lasts you 30 days. And then you have to throw away the container that's usually glass or plastic, and you cannot reuse them. And yeah, that's what you're doing. So that was something that was an easy swap for me. As I said before, I upgraded my kitchen basics. And this is something that, again, I'm doing little by little. I swapped out my food containers for glass containers. I threw away all of my plastic utensils. And now I either do wood spoons or wood tongs. I use those. Or what I'll do is that I will do more of the non-toxic cookware. A good thing that I also did was that I actually got rid of all of my cheap, listen to me, lady, all of those cheap pans and pots. That was a big thing for me. I did not go into stainless steel, and I actually don't have anything stainless steel just yet. I will eventually like to get something that's stainless steel, but what I did was that I actually swapped out, went to Amazon, picked up a really inexpensive cooking set that were all non-toxic. Nothing crazy, all the basics. And then there's a company called Our Place. They have great options. And that's something that I'll probably do another. I personally love like favorites. I love to watch the favorite videos on YouTube. So I'm probably going to do something like that here on the podcast. I'll do an episode. I'm thinking I'm going to do an episode like that of like all my favorites, because I have started to do my research and really started buying things and swapping things out. So I have a good amount of items that I could refer. So if you ladies want to hear that episode, definitely comment below. I would love to know your feedback on that. But besides that, and like I said, I swapped out for just a small little set and got rid of all of my cheaper, inexpensive pots and pans. Because again, you're cooking on these items, they're going up to a certain temp, you're putting your food on them, the food is absorbing whatever is on those pots and pans, and then you're eating it, you're digesting it. So all of that really does make a major difference. So another big thing was, and it's so funny because you think about it, we're on our phones constantly, right? We're constantly on an app. There's an app for everything. But when I started going through my phone and erasing the most important things, I erased all of those fast food apps, all of them. I uninstalled all of them. And when I did that, I realized, wow, this really isn't as easy to just put an order in and pick it up. I had to really be intentional with what I was going to be cooking. Then what happened was is that in the beginning as well, I would spend money on these items and then I got lazy and did not want to cook anything. So I do have an episode, if you ladies haven't heard yet, an episode on meal prepping and how I've come to do that and how I've actually incorporated that into my life. So definitely check that out. But I was like, okay, I'm cooking, I'm buying all this food. I'm not cooking because I'm being lazy. I'm just jumping on an app and just going through a drive-through. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So what happened was is that I really had to start shopping smarter. And what I did was that I wound up downloading apps like the EWG, which is that it's actually a nice website that will give you a full rundown of, more clean items and where to get them. There's another app that I use pretty often. It's called Yuka or Yucca. That one I use to scan my items to see actually what is in the actual products. And there's a new app that I've just recently come across called Think Dirty. I love the name of these apps. But this app actually evaluates products. It focuses on brands that are transparent and that offer value and is not just about fancy marketing. And as I said before, Thrive Market. So Thrive Market was a big, really, really big help in my support when I first started doing these swaps because I paid a 1-year subscription. It was only a few dollars, nothing too intense. And then I get to build my shopping cart every single month. You could buy 1 or 2 items. That's how I started. I started off just doing 1 or 2 items, nothing too crazy. Get them in the house, give them a try. If I liked it, I added them to my auto ships. And then if not, I tried something different. Like your girl must have gone through, I would say I'm on my 7th maybe brand of dish soap to try to find one that I like. And what I love about Thrive Market is that you have that option. You can actually search, you could actually try different brands and see which one's going to fit for you. Like with the laundry detergent with Rosie, I actually went through probably like 2 or 3 other soap options before I found that one. And I love it, but I am going to continue trying more just so that I have other options. So that to me was a big thing also. Get rid of the apps that you know are not serving you and replace them with the apps that you know can help support this new clean way of living. But I would say the biggest thing that I did, and I hope this brings comfort to you ladies, use up what you have first, right? You don't have to throw everything away. Wait till you run out of something and then replace it with a cleaner version. Like once you do that, it's going to be so much more peaceful. Like one smart swap at a time is how I was able to build a non-toxic lifestyle that feels peaceful, not pressured. That is, if you're going to take one thing away from this podcast episode, please take that. Like just use up what you have first and start making those swaps little by little. So just so you guys can, like I said, I'm all about research. When I really started doing a lot of research about everything, I realized that the average woman is exposed to over 160 chemicals before she even leaves the house. It's like, what? You're talking about 160 chemicals from when you wake up to brushing your teeth, to taking a shower, to putting on your makeup, to, putting on your lotion, your perfume, cooking your breakfast, making your lunch, cleaning around the house, like all of that. You're literally before you leave the house in the morning. That to me was mind-boggling. And over time, what happens is that these items, these chemicals, they can affect your hormone imbalance. It can affect your weight gain. Unfortunately, to some extent, some fertilization issues, and then fatigue. So the good thing is that there is a way to be able to change it. You just don't need to do it all at once. Small, consistent changes are more effective than a sudden overhaul, cleaning everything out and starting everything brand new. Because again, we want this lifestyle, this non-toxic lifestyle to stick. You really, really do. So, I want you ladies to understand that clean living isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. You're not behind if you just started, because you don't know what you don't know. You're not doing anything wrong if you still use some of your old products, because like I said, I have my Chanel and I'm going to live with my Chanel forever. But every single swap that you do for your wellness and for your energy and for your future self needs to be important for you. It needs to be something that you're proud of. It's something that you are choosing for you. And that honestly speaks volumes. So ladies, I'm happy again. We are wrapping up this episode. I'm hoping that this episode kind of just helped to encourage you to just go ahead and start changing out some of the things in your house and understanding that you could do it at your own pace and nothing that's going to be, overly extensive. I definitely want to invite you guys to go to my website and download for free my Clean Living Starting Guide. Just go ahead to the website, and in here I'm going to be including like a simple checklist for clean swaps, ingredients that you should red flag, and a few of my own favorite low toxic brands. And what you're doing is that you're just building a hormone safe, gut friendly lifestyle that's going to fit you. And if you need any guidance, definitely give me a call, because I'm here for you ladies. Like I said, we're all friends. We're here to help each other out. And I would love to go ahead and get to know you guys. So definitely go ahead and schedule a discovery call with me so we can get to learn about each other, and I can help just guide. And that's what I'm here for. I'm really help to guide and support. So with that being said, ladies, thank you once again for staying until the end. Thank you so much for your support. I'm happy to say that I have another 10, 12, 20 episodes in the pipeline. I'm really looking to kind of just continue this podcast. I really, really am enjoying this. And I'm hoping that you ladies come along for the ride. All right, guys. So you have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.